Good evening, my fellow scientists. It is Saturday, February 17th, 2018, and I want to tell you the latest progress on the all-iron battery. For those of you who are new here, I have been working for the last year on producing a battery that is an iron anode and an iron salt cathode, so that it's all iron, fairly non-toxic, and extremely cheap. This is something like the Edison Cell, so if you're a battery enthusiast, you've probably heard of the Edison Cell. It's an iron anode and a nickel cathode. In this case, we're replacing the expensive nickel with a cheap iron salt. It hurts the energy density significantly, but reduces the cost per watt hour a lot. And the hope is that will be a good stationary battery because the weight is high, but the cost is low. Good for storing solar energy, wind energy, that kind of thing. And we've made some progress. When we started, could store almost nothing, and now we're at the record has stored 1/200th, 0.5% of the energy density of a lithium-ion battery, but is actually not too far off in terms of cost. So the big hurdle has been, how do we pack more iron into the cell? Because at this point, the amount of iron I can pack in is limited by solubility. It's a water-based chemistry. If you go to acid, you start to etch the iron metal. If you go to base, you start to precipitate the iron salt. And so I've been stuck. And I got a great suggestion from the comments that I should look at an iron sugar complex that's used for treating iron deficiency. So I dug into that. I ended up looking at a journal of fish husbandry from the Hiroshima region of Japan. Really strange line of research that took me there. But it turns out that 30 years ago, people were looking at how to supplement fish diet with iron, and a iron sugar complex turned out to work pretty well to stabilize the iron in a form that fish could eat, I gather. But more to my interest, it holds it in a form that I can put in the battery that won't precipitate out. So I went ahead and mixed up iron sulfate with just a lot of sucrose, table sugar. Some images, there is iron sulfate and it's at saturation and it's fairly easy to see through. Compare that to iron EDTA, where I can pack in so much iron that you can't see through it anymore, but EDTA eats the iron metal, or at least catalyzes oxygen eating the iron metal. But this is iron sucrose, and it's as dense and high in concentration as the iron EDTA, but will it cause the iron metal to erode? Not sure yet, but I went ahead and ran a whole bunch of cycles, and you can see that although the voltage is wandering, probably because the sucrose is slowing diffusion down, it's slowing the reaction rate down. That is something we can probably compensate for with the right additives. But the reversibility is pretty amazing. So this is charging and discharging. You get the same number of coulombs in as out. It's actually absurdly reversible. It's the best reversibility I've seen. So thank you to all you commenters who are giving me ideas. Iron sucrose is so far the reversibility winner. We'll see if we can get the voltage up and get the internal resistance down, and I will update you next week right here in the Allen Lab.